Film School Slacker contains adult language and themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And hello, welcome back to Film School Slacker, the podcast where I slowly move my way through my watch list.
And I help him.
Yeah, I'm
Yay.
Ian.
I'm Megan.
And today we're watching a movie that the world doesn't want you to watch, apparently, because it's impossible.
It's Harvey Weinstein not wanting you to watch it because he's being a dick.
So today we're going to watch Dogma. That's the hope, anyway.
Dogma. From 1999, rated R, 2 hours and 10 minutes long, written and directed by Kevin Smith, starring Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Linda Fiorentino, and many, many more that I don't want to spoil the surprise of, even though I already spoiled the surprise a little bit earlier, but whatever.
And I do know some of the people that are going to... Yeah.
I absolutely love this movie. I think it was my first Kevin Smith movie when I was, I don't know, probably way too young to have seen it. Thank you, parents.
Well, it's certainly going to be mine because I have never seen a Kevin Smith movie before this.
This is your first. This is
correct.
We're popping your Kevin Smith cherry.
Yeah, I mean, like, name me a couple others because I don't think I've seen any of them.
Mallrats.
Nope.
Chasing Amy.
Nope.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Nope.
Did I say Clerks already?
No, but no.
Clerks 2.
No.
And then there's a couple others that he's done in recent years that get real dark.
Oh.
I want to say, is it... Well, there's one called Tusk.
Oh, yeah, I know about that one.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't want to watch.
No.
I can't. And
remember, things go on my watch list because we want to watch them, not because I've never seen them.
Right. And I want to say it's called Red State, but I don't know if it's a gory horror movie that I think he did with.
No
I
thanks.
want to say, yeah, Red State.
Okay.
It's a short film from 2015.
Okay.
But yeah, Jay and Silent Bob is his big.
Yeah.
I mean, it's him and his BF. Oh, Zach and Miri Make a Porno.
Oh, okay.
Is
never seen
also
that is as well.
him.
Yeah, I have never
Jersey Girl.
The only thing I know about this is that it has to do with like fallen angels, essentially.
Yeah.
But that's basically all I know about it. So I'm excited. I know of a couple other names that you did mention that I am excited to see. And also maybe be a little sad about. Oh. Yeah. But other than that, I'm stoked. But yeah, to follow up with your what you were saying before about Harvey Weinstein being a douche. We had to find a copy. Like, it is not streaming.
It's not streaming anywhere. It is, the full thing is on YouTube, but we don't want to watch it off YouTube. I don't know, because I don't know. So we brought up mine and Aaron's old Xbox One.
Yup.
And sat through, I don't know, what was that, 20 minutes of updates?
Yep.
Because we haven't plugged it in 5
and it refuses to play a DVD without updating.
Yeah, and then then we had to try to sign in, and Aaron couldn't remember his password,
it was a
whole thing. So we ended up having to download.
We have a copy that was ripped from a DVD a long time ago,
many moons ago,
and it was on a friend's Plex server. So we have access to that, and that is how we're going to attempt to watch it, because that is where we're at right now. So
we don't know if
it's gonna
actually be fine, or if it's gonna fuck up or whatever.
Right.
We're gonna try it and hope for the best. Yeah. Because I really, 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 really want you to see this.
Yeah, I'm really stoked.
There are rumors going around that it will be streaming somewhere eventually.
I have heard that.
Because
I believe the rights finally came back.
Yeah, I think Kevin Smith finally got the rights back because the reason it wasn't streaming was because Harvey Weinstein's estate owned the rights and wanted kind of a lot of money to give them back to Kevin Smith.
Right.
And maybe he finally like
relented or
right. Sold them to someone, maybe Kevin Smith himself. I don't know.
Who's to say?
So anyway, I'm sure we could look it up, but I'm too lazy.
Right.
So yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. All right. Let's roll the Plex server.
Roll tape.
Okay, so I want to start before I piss anybody off by saying I really actually very much enjoyed it. So I want to put that out there initially because I don't want people to misconstrue all the things I'm going to say. Going forward. My initial kind of thesis on this film is there's a really fun, like, Good Omen-esque like commentary on religion that's humorous but also has a lot of like thought behind it, commingled with the worst 90s buddy stoner movie I've ever seen. And I don't really like stoner movies overall as myself.
That's fair.
So like I have a note, like one of my early notes was, okay, this is oh, here we go. Christ, are we gonna be stuck with these two chuckle fucks for the whole film? I'm gonna kill myself.
Yes, you are.
And that was like that was where I was like, oh no, we're in trouble. And then only after that did I realize that Silent Bob is Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
And then my second big note is I hate when directors have a major part in their film.
Okay.
And I don't like it, especially because he like saved the day a few times.
Yeah.
And I find like, so these are things right away. I'm just going to get them out into the world.
Okay.
That rubs me the wrong way as a creator. I don't like the way that hits. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why. And I think of it, I feel it's sort of masturbatory.
Okay.
And this, it's very indulgent, those two characters, because he wrote, I really like the writing and directing of the movie. Like, I think that it's like, you've got an amazing cast, you've got an amazing premise, and with like some cool stuff. You've got your lead. She gets these like, all these like, kind of mythological beings essentially that show up in her life. You get like this other side story where you've got, watching the storylines converge, where you've got Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, doing their own thing and lining up, and they've got good chemistry, and they have some amazing dialogue, like really well written, well put together dialogue. And then for some reason you do like a self insert of these two like idiots. And I know that's the bit, like that's the shtick. Like I'm not saying that like he wasn't intending to do that. You know what I mean?
So totally valid. Like Picadillo complaint. That's just kind of Kevin Smith's move.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well,
sorry.
Well, he has a whole View Askew.
I know. There's like a View Askew-averse. I know. I've been
View Askew-universe.
Yeah.
And like the thing that ties them all together, or one of the things that ties them all together, are the characters Jay and Silent Bob. I'm okay with those characters showing up. Again, I saw this movie probably way too young.
Sure.
Like maybe age 9.
Oh.
Like I didn't really get it. And it was something my parents were watching. But then I watched it again in middle school, and that's when I really became like
a fan
of it.
Yeah.
Again, still probably too young. I'm surprised at how much dialogue I remember from this movie.
There are those films that will just kind of like stick with you.
Yeah, and especially since I watched this movie so much when I was a kid, like in middle school. I loved it. I still do. I think kind of the presence of Jay and Silent Bob is kind of I don't want to say the palate cleanser, but you have a lot of information thrown at you in this movie. There's a lot of really thick,
definitely. There's some stuff,
paragraphs
especially
of dialogue.
Some of the stuff that happened between Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Like a lot of that stuff, I was like, I almost need to go back. Like, you know, it's like I will need to watch this movie again at some point and listen to more of their dialogue, because there's a lot happening, and I do like that. And that's something that I find really interesting. Is it's a weird combo, because like they don't spoon feed any of it to you.
No.
And I find that to be very interesting from a perspective of the way that the movie plays out, because that's what's so confusing about it to me. Is it feels like there's one movie I really want to watch that keeps getting interrupted. I don't know. And this is just a problem that I didn't have any exposure to Kevin Smith until this very second.
I mean, you know Nick and Kevin, so
I know.
so
I know.
Kind of have. I mean, and I get that. His stuff is very much I want to say it's Joss Whedon-y, but a little denser.
Yeah, I think that, and also like my opinion on Joss Whedon has changed over the years.
Well, yeah, and it's less dependent on the banter.
It's a little less campy. I think that Joss Whedon tends to lean into the camp factor.
Yeah.
And the difference with Kevin Smith is he seems to lean into like the 12-year-old boy factor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I tend to do camp better than 12-year-old boy at this point in my life, I think. I was not, as a young person, I was not encouraged to have 12-year-old boy behavior, so I kind of
I
didn't.
believe that.
And so I never really did it, and then I also and in turn never really found a tast for it.
Gotcha.
I mean, like I do, but I don't know how to explain it.
You're more like the non overtly sexual stoner kind of 12-year-old boy. You're like fart and boob jokes.
Not necessarily. I mean, I don't. Okay, so I guess I should be clear. Like, I don't dislike that to show up. I don't like it being like a component.
Gotcha.
Like I don't know. Like, I like a moment. I like a bit where I was like, like I like it, but it felt like it was such a. It felt like it was such a tenet to like part of what made it funny. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was definitely like, it felt like a core tenet was that you're going to really enjoy the fact that Jay is going to try very hard to fuck her.
Yeah.
The whole time. And I'm like, it is at first like, they want to like, but it like becomes this ongoing bit, and it wasn't funny to me.
Like the bit lasted too long.
Yeah, like they just kind of left, like these two characters only exist as a 12-year-old boy joke.
Yeah.
And they are just ever present, and they like by sheer whateverness like save the day multiple times.
It's John Hughes' fault.
It is John Hughes' fault. It is John Hughes' fault. And so like this is a thing where, and again, like that's why I said very early on in the recording, I don't dislike the movie. I want to be very clear about that. I want to watch it again.
It didn't ruin
the film for me. It was just really weird. Like it felt like very incongruous in my head to watch.
Gotcha.
It was two different movies that I have to be braced for very differently, simultaneously happening, and I think it's and it's not a fault to the film that it did that. Like I think that that's its own brand of thing, and that's why Kevin Smith is popular and he's well regarded. But like, it was not something that I am accustomed to. I guess is maybe the way
fair.
I'll, which again is like, it sounds more negative than it needs to be, but I kind of needed to like, because it was ever present, and so it was very on my mind.
Yeah.
For sure. But. Yeah, I don't know. And I know that's going to be like, I'm sure this is going to, I mean, it's fine. None of my friends are ever going to listen to this because, like, you know, whatever. But
my friends better listen to this.
They won't, though.
I don't care. They better. If you're my friend and you don't listen to this, we're not friends anymore.
You know? Yeah. But anyway, things I really liked, though, just to kind of, like, get off of my weird soapbox. I really liked the set design. the costume design, the cinematography, the sound, the fucking score is Howard Shore. Like from like Lord of the Rings fame.
Oh shit!
So like there was things that I really really liked. I might as well just get into my my actual notes.
Dive into those.
The Buddy Christ with organ music in the background is my favorite thing.
The
where he's like talking about with George Carlin. Yeah.
God damn.
Right. This is so 90s in all caps.
It is so 90s.
The amount of smoking indoors was shocking.
Like, and we are of the generation where, you know, smoking bans were passed when we were, you know, young teenagers.
Right.
Like, even preteens. So,
right.
Like, and I think I've said it before on the podcast, or maybe I was talking about it on the other podcast I do, which is Best Threesome Ever.
Yeah.
Like,
sorry.
A lot of my family smoked when I was a kid.
Right.
My grandma, my aunt, my uncle, both my parents, I mean, my mom and my stepdad smoked, but they always smoked outside, whereas my grandma would smoke inside.
Right.
Which is why we had to smoke bomb our house when we sold it. So it was something I grew up with, and then, like, you know, then Chantix, the pill that you take for smoking to stop smoking came out, and a lot of them quit and like never went back. So yeah, so going back and watching movies from
the 90s,
the 80s and 90s, because we saw it a bunch in Pretty in Pink too. Was everyone smoking inside in the bar, in the, you know, in the school, which was probably technically not what you were supposed to do, but whatever.
Right.
Fucking John Hughes.
Is that going to become an ongoing thing for us? Everything is John Hughes'
I don't know.
fault.
It's all John Hughes'
Well, it
fault.
seems to be happening naturally, so we'll just have to make it happen.
Yeah. But
that's funny.
Yeah, the amount of smoking indoors is
wild,
especially from a 2024 lens,
because
that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. I wanted to also, the next note I had is like, this feels like it's really playing on like the satanic panic of the mid 80s, you know, with like the three hockey players of the apocalypse, and like like it has this very like I don't know, like it felt like it definitely feels like it kind of falls into that.
I get that. I get what you're saying there, because like the satanic panic, I mean, I could go on a whole soapbox about that, because I am also really into true crime in the West Memphis 3 case.
I was literally gonna
in the early 90s.
Like it feels like specifically calling out those like three like very Midwestern, you know, hockey boys, you know, like that energy really felt like it was a kind of nod almost. I
think Kevin Smith and his interests in, you know, comic books and kind of the occult, he was raised Roman Catholic, so like
that explains a lot.
Yeah. Hello. He was raised Roman Catholic, and you know, I don't know, I feel like people who are raised Catholic kind of always have an interest in kind of the dark side.
Dark, or that binary of light
occult.
And dark.
Always, because Catholicism is pretty close to witchcraft. Like, if we're gonna get into
there's a lot of rituals.
There's a lot of rituals. There's incense. There's, you know, drinking blood. There's, you know, it kind of has this dark, edgy tone to it. That
it's very gothic.
Yeah, super goth.
Very goth.
So I think, you know, Kevin Smith would have been a teenager in the 80s.
Sure.
So when all of that was happening.
Right.
So like, I feel like, this movie kind of came out of that kind of satanic panic obsession with, you know, the creepy cult in the woods and the, you know.
No, it really, and because they end up in the woods, and like it takes all of that and kind of puts it on its head, which I found to be really, really cool. Like, I liked the script. Like, I really liked
the script.
A lot of what they did. It's
fucking amazing.
It's really cool. It creates a really great. It makes sense that it was a man that was raised Roman Catholic, basically interrogating his own religion in his head, and then made a script out of it. That's really what it feels like.
So to harken back to our Da Vinci Code conversation.
Yeah.
This is another movie that really made me question the things I was taught as a kid.
Right. Sure.
You know, i.e. religion.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of problematic shit they bring up in this movie, like the fact that, you know, Rufus, the 13th apostle, was left out because he was black.
Totally.
And the fact that God is a woman, even though it's referred to, you know, he's always referred to as he, but all of the pen holders were men.
Right.
Like that one was really what struck a chord in me. It made me the horrible fun killing feminist I am, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, why do you hate fun, Megan?
I hate fun and I hate men. I'm kidding.
Famously hates men.
Famously hate men. Even though I'm on a podcast with
two other men
and three
other men.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
But like it kind of shone a light on those issues.
Yeah.
That, you know, when you're raised American Christian, you never really think about.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree.
It's just a fact, and it definitely put the spotlight on like, guys, this is an issue.
Totally. I like, absolutely agree.
And the thing is, it doesn't take away from the character's faith. You know what I mean? The characters who bring these issues up, don't say that this is what ruined my faith. This is it's just something that we have to work on and work to fix.
And I love the idea that, like, the whole concept of the idea, and I think it might have been Chris Rock's character, Rufus. Thank you. Like, I think he mentioned it too, where it was like all of the denominations got it wrong kind of energy, right? And I loved that whole concept of, like, no, like, we're not saying Christianity doesn't exist, but what we are saying is all the people that are using it. They're not trying to be accurate. They're not trying to be what's good or what's right. They're just trying to advance their own cause. And that's another kind of big example. I mean, because Da Vinci Code was the same way. You know, there was truths that were hidden because they wanted to advance their own power. Yeah. It did a good job of still maintaining that while also being comedic and not just always sitting there and beating you over the head with it. Okay, so here we go. Oh, okay. Who the fuck sleeps in a flannel shirt? I would be so warm. Anyway, that's a separate issue. That's just Bethany going to bed in a flannel shirt. It was weird. Nice quick access on the fire extinguisher. Like, she had one really close by.
Why is it in her bedroom closet?
Everyone, you should have fire extinguishers nearby all the time.
You should have a fire extinguisher in your kitchen.
You should. And
anywhere you have candles or able to get to it. But, like, why the fuck is it in her bedroom closet?
It's not a bad idea.
No.
Like, I will say, like, I mean, as a person whose house was saved by a fire extinguisher in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I will. The first thing that I told my brother when he bought his house, I'm like, "Can you just please buy a
fire extinguisher?
I will buy you one. Just they're like $40. Just like throw it in there."
Well, and hi, my dad was a firefighter. I grew up on fire safety, so like, you know, smoke alarms and fire extinguishers and, you know, smoke alarms in every room of the house, even though it doesn't make sense.
Right. That's actually code now.
I have not followed that rule. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening. But
but still, like, the point stands. You test them, make sure they work, make sure that
change their batteries.
Is this the second time we've talked about fire safety
feel like
on this?
It is.
Oh God. We're just
this will just slowly morph into a fire safety podcast.
Anyway, the fire. This is all my fault. Anyway, fire extinguisher. I thought it was funny that she, like you said,
it's
funny. We were
like
in her closet,
in her bedroom closet.
It was easy access, but I'm glad she's up on fire safety.
Good for her.
Yeah, it's all good. I really liked the practical wing effects. I thought that was fun, and they would not have done that today. So
no, they wouldn't have.
Happy that they did. And then the dream scenario where Alan Rickman snaps his fingers and and she just like wakes up with maracas in her bed. Amazing. I think that's a great. People that overthink. I think I've said this already in this podcast. People that overthink dream sequences need to not, because movies are already like dreams. Just roll with it. That has always been my belief system on dreams, because like there's nothing more dreamlike than straight cuts.
Yeah.
Like I've always felt that way about it. And the fact that she just like is sitting there, and they did a little bit of Matt's on action, but she's waking up in her bed, and that is perfection. And I do not need anything more than that. All around, well executed, well put together. No notes. Wonderful. And the maracas were a wonderful touch.
I like that they were under her pillow.
Oh yeah. It's just yeah, it's like, what are these? Like, it was
what the fuck?
Perfection. It was perfection.
Maybe that was real.
Right, maybe it was. And it was a great indication to us, too, to know that she did not hallucinate. This is, it got us to buy in, so we also were like, why is she being a crazy person? Like, we understand, as well as her, that this is something there's more to this than just her freaking out. Alan Rickman always plays an angry character, and I love that for him.
He's got that face.
And that was back to my Jane Silent Bob. Are the? I'm like, at first I was like, is one of them Kevin Smith?
Yes.
Are they recurring characters in this universe?
Yes, they are.
And then I did a quick Google, because I was like, I have to know.
Yeah.
Oh, and then so Chris Rock starts talking, and then I wrote, wouldn't they have all been black when he was talking? He was the last black.
They were Middle Eastern. They weren't. I mean, Egypt is in Africa, people.
It was just weird to me. It felt like why was he left out because he was black? Weren't they kind of all black?
And I think that was, I mean, I don't want to get into the whole like critical race theory thing about it, but like, because Jesus would have been Middle Eastern, in ethnicity, and maybe Rufus was like.
I see what you're saying.
Like,
so, like,
people,
in theory, like, we're talking, like, skin tone changes. Maybe he was from elsewhere in Africa.
Well, yeah, and, I mean, places were a lot less homogenous than people nowadays like to think.
No, I get it. The thing
there was a lot of travel there. I mean, like, think of the like, trade. Just maybe Rufus ended up in Jerusalem because of... he was a trader. And just like heard this guy talking on the street and hooked up with him.
But I thought it was kind of funny. Like, at first I said, wouldn't they all not have been white?
They are all not white.
And then he went on to say Jesus also wasn't white.
Yeah.
So then I just wrote, oh, never mind, right after that, because like it was still like I could tell they were doing the bit. Yeah. Which I thought was. It probably wouldn't have been done exactly the same way today that they would have done it then, but also like I get what he was doing. It's fine.
The trope of white Jesus
totally
came about when the Romans
whenever
got involved. Whenever Constantine got involved. Right. Because he wanted and especially in high art history background.
I know, it's fine.
Especially when the church was commissioning pieces from European artists. Sure. So they just made him white
to look like what they knew how to draw.
Because he would look like the people that were in that church's community, and made him a little more relatable to them, even though he would have been a brown man.
Right. And that's fine. Like, it was not a for me it was less of a knock on the entire thing for them. It was more, I just thought it was funny that it was like,
and Jesus' name is actually Josh.
That is correct,
because Jesus is the Greek translation of the Hebrew name Yeshua, Hebrew to English Joshua.
Yes.
So anyone who's named Josh
is the son of God.
The son of God. Yep.
That is how that works. You heard it here first.
Yep. All Joshes are Jesus.
Perfection. Amazing.
It's a tagline for this episode.
We're batting a perfect score right now.
All Joshes
are Jesus. I will be writing that down. Hold, please. Okay. So, just the quote. I'm up to my ass in Christian mythology. Chef's kiss.
Right.
And I feel like, and I love that he even called out. He's like, the big man upstairs
really
doesn't love it when you say mythology.
When you call it mythology.
And I loved that. I mean, and that's the other thing for me, and we'll get to this when we do the rating, but I think cultural impact, it has lots of good vibes for me, because like there's so many things that you can tell, like this was like the 90s. This was way ahead of its time in terms of saying things like that, and which makes sense why they put that giant disclaimer at the front being like, can you just not sue us or be weird about us, please? You know,
please
like,
don't hurt anybody
we're
because
just
of this
trying
movie.
to,
It's completely made up, and
like,
it's
please just let
meant
us
to
live
be
our
funny.
lives. Right. So it was funny that, like, and I get why. Like, it would have been at now it's like whatever, but at the time it would have been crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So aren't they fallen angels? Why do they have so much insight? Oh yeah, they seem to always know. Like when they were in the boardroom.
So I don't know if you caught this, but when Alan Rickman's talking to Bethany in the restaurant, Bartleby is called a watcher.
Right.
So the idea is that because they're still angels, they still have that kind of magical power of,
because they both have their wings still. They are still able to do the things that they
able
did
to be in heaven.
Gotcha.
So they're able to like look at a person and be like, oh,
I know your entire story. Got it. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. And at the end, like when they had their wings still, I'm like, I get it. I think I get it better.
Cutting off their wings
to make them mortal
made them mortal, and then they could pass through and then then actually die and go to heaven.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. All right. So I think I enjoyed that generally the violence was not portrayed graphically. Like it was sort of done off camera, which I think was kind of poignant in a way, where it was sort of like he made kind of a point of not being violent on camera. Like there was some violent moments, like some like random bits of gore, and they had blood on them, whatever. But like it was not just like, let's not just like show a massacre. That's not helpful. Like that's not useful. So I think that was kind of a nice prioritization of the story. You know, like some stories, like that's part of it. Like you need to show the violence to make the point. Yeah. This was a movie where he was like, "There's so many other things that are going to be like important to you.
Like we don't need to show.
We don't need to show it.
We don't need to show. We could just show the aftermath,
right?
Where he offers
the reactions.
Yeah, where he offers the sole remaining person on the board of Mubi a piece of gum because she's the only person. Also, I think that it's funny that the woman was the only person.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
anyway,
pretty funny. Asriel.
Yeah. Jason Lee.
Hashtag a shit demon. Sorry.
My name is Earl.
I don't think I've seen anything with him ever.
My name is Earl.
I've never seen that.
Okay.
Does that need something that need to go on the list?
No, it's a TV show that was not super great.
Okay, cool. I won't put that on the list then, and you don't get a point for that.
That's okay. I will live without that point. He's I don't know. He was kind of everywhere and
for
nowhere
a little while, right?
In the aughts.
In the aughts. So the thing that I will say, the first thing I was like, this guy isn't Ryan Reynolds. But also, like, is he not Ryan Reynolds?
I was gonna say like quasi Ryan Reynolds, but like not Ryan Reynolds.
If this movie would have been made today,
oh my god, Ryan Reynolds
would have been Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
like they played it the same way. It was kind of uncanny. I thought that was
they
interesting.
have the way they talk is very similar.
Yeah, it's like his
it's very
delivery.
East Coast. I don't know.
It was very specific and very that wise guy kind of energy.
Yeah.
So that was something I noticed. They were both okay. So that was my other thing. Is it looked like Ben Affleck was and Matt Damon were able to drink, but for some reason Alan Rickman was not able to drink. Was that just because they weren't in heaven anymore?
I think so.
Okay, because they're both still angels, so I wasn't sure.
They're still angels, but they're not
no longer subjected to some of the rules.
They're not in heaven.
Why wouldn't they have had their powers stripped first? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Okay,
Ian, I don't.
Look,
I'm not.
I'm just.
Kevin Smith.
I'm gonna call Kevin Smith.
Call him on the phone.
I'm sure that would go. Oh, hold on,
just
real
one
quick.
second.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
So
that's not how he talks at all.
Yeah.
Although he is a stoner now. Like,
wasn't he always a stoner?
No, he didn't start smoking weed until until the early 10s. Like
That's
he was
amazing.
never a stoner until he was older.
Okay.
I think that's freaking hilarious.
That is funny. But he created these stonery characters. Amazing.
Dexter.
I'm skipping over the ones where I gripe about Jay and Silent Bob.
Okay.
Because I already griped a lot about Jay and Silent. Yeah. I did enjoy the he spoke twice, but I kind of wish he'd only spoken once.
Who spoke twice?
Silent Bob.
Oh.
He should have had one. Like he had this one line where he's like, he was just like, he didn't have his ticket or whatever
no
it was.
Ticket.
No ticket. And then that was fun. Like, then he spoke again at the end. It almost would have been more impactful just to wait until the end. I don't know. It was... And if he really did it twice, he should have done it neither or 3 times, but that's my own problem.
Spoiler for Chasing Amy. Because we'll get there, because that's...
Yeah.
I have a lot of emotions about that movie.
I feel like me and whoever...
I feel like you and Nick should do that movie with me.
Yeah, well... And
Nick should do that movie with us.
With us, yeah. I feel like... I'm going to get in a fight with one or both of you, probably with that movie.
I
just based on the little I know about it.
Anyway.
Yeah, moving on. Boogie boarding. We're going to have that conversation when we get to that movie.
My point, in Chasing Amy, Silent Bob actually has one of the a whole last monologue.
Oh, funny.
Which is hilarious.
Okay, good to know. The name Loki, was that on purpose? Was that based on real Christian mythology,
no.
or that was just a character?
Actually, so in Christian mythology, Azrael is actually the name of the angel of death.
Oh, okay.
Loki has always been the Norse god,
the trickster
mischief.
God. Yeah.
I don't know where Bartleby came from. Probably like Bartleby the Scrivener, which is, I mean, even then it was pre-existing name. Anyway, I don't know why he chose to use Loki. Right,
because it was, and at the time, I feel like Loki didn't have a lot of other connotations in pop culture.
This was 1999. This was way before the MCU, and this was way before kind of the resurgence of Norse mythology.
So I think he could have pulled the name and it would have made sense, and it had extra meaning to him, but it wasn't. So there was, I guess because of the fact that of watching it in 2024, I was trying to read more into it, but there was not any more into it to read.
There's no more into it that you need to read than just it was a name. He chose.
I love a good train scene.
Yeah.
Love a scene on a train. That was fun.
You love trains.
I do love trains.
You're a train guy.
I'm a train guy.
I like trains too. I miss
being able to go places on trains.
On trains.
Yeah. I understand.
It was so convenient.
Truly.
I could get to Liverpool in 2 hours. I could be in a completely different part of the country.
My entire college experience
was
I never had
trains.
a car. I walked and was able to take the train basically wherever. Here was the other crazy thing. I almost never took the bus in Chicago because I didn't need to.
Yeah.
The train system was so
I took the
extensive.
bus a lot in York. But
the bus was so the train network was so extensive in there that you were basically never more than 5 blocks from a train station. So you could just go anywhere. Yeah. It was amazing.
Ugh.
Anyway,
sounds so nice.
It was a good time. It's too bad that we live in this country.
Yeah.
And then every scene with Alan Rickman is magic.
Yep.
Because he's just amazing, and I don't know who else would have played. He played it so well. That mixture of being a character that's he was both deeply irritated at what he was doing, as the role was, but he also at no time did you ever question his sincerity.
Yeah,
he was just irritated. I just thought that was a fun way to play it.
He wasn't irritated with his role. He was irritated with
the lot that was happening around him.
The shit that was going down.
Yeah. And at first he was more irritated, but I really liked the portrayal.
May he rest.
May he rest.
So, actually, story of how Alan Rickman came to be in this movie. So Kevin Smith heard that Alan Rickman had seen and really liked Chasing Amy, which came out in 97.
Sure.
So he sent him the script for Dogma because that was his next project.
Mm-hmm.
And Alan Rickman only had 2 questions. And here, let me look him up because I want to get him right.
Yeah.
So he read the script and came back with, would they stay faithful to the script, and were the wings real or CGI?
I love that. I love that so much.
So because Alan Rickman, and another piece of trivia via IMDb.
Classic.
So Jason Mewes, Jay,
Yep.
Had the entire script memorized before rehearsals. He said it was because he didn't want to anger Alan Rickman, and because Kevin Smith took him aside before rehearsals began and said he needed to be on his best behavior and bring his A game to the set. So
Could you imagine making this movie and being like, "Oh God, we're gonna have Alan Rickman"?
This is like me taking, I don't know, one of our friends aside and being like, "Okay, we have, I don't know, Hugh Jackman,
Pedro Pascal."
That would be a completely separate thing.
Keep it in your pants.
No.
Oh.
we have Hugh Jackman coming in as a,
a bit role where he's doing,
don't fuck this
up for me. I want to have
do
a
not
good
fuck this up for, like, you need to be on your A game. You need to not fuck it up. I can't imagine.
That's so amazing. I from a filmmaker and creator perspective, I absolutely, I totally get it.
Yeah,
totally get it. Okay. Well, the famous line, which I've seen other places, but it was nice to see it for real. I say we get drunk because I'm out of ideas.
Yep.
Such a good line.
I've posted that GIF many a times.
Oh, so good.
I say we get drunk because I'm all out of ideas.
This film must have been hated by the Catholic Church.
There were actually protests.
I bet there were.
And Kevin Smith joined one of the protests at one point just to kind of fuck
See
with
what
people.
Happened. Yeah, amazing.
He was actually interviewed by a local news station saying he got mistaken for the director. Like, I just that is goals.
That is pretty amazing,
that
actually. Yeah, that's good.
Fucking hilarious.
That's good.
Good for you.
George Carlin as a man of God is outstanding.
I know.
I like that he didn't reveal the whole plan. With the where like he's like, I've watched too many Bond movies. I'm not going to tell you my entire plan.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a great little shtick to throw in there. If they don't let us jerk off,
Right?
I mean, that's fair though. It would have dealt with less, carnage.
This is eons of repression coming out.
Literally.
They'd only just let us jerk off.
Again, a Roman Catholic person raised Roman Catholic, interrogating his own religion and psyche in this movie it's pretty fun. Matt Damon is the best.
Yeah,
I love Matt Damon. He's my favorite.
I
don't know. I don't know if he gets canceled. It'll be very sad, but I just really enjoy him a lot.
I really think he's
one of the good
probably
ones.
one of the nicest guys.
He really seems to be.
Like,
he's got good energy. I don't know how to explain it.
And like, this was 99, so this was coming off of their, his and Affleck's success with Good Will Hunting.
Right.
This was like the
pretty much the next thing they both did.
I don't think it was the next thing, but it was still pretty early in their careers.
They did so well in this movie. It was so good.
This was like the beginning, the early stages of their career.
Totally.
So, like, super good for them.
Yeah. Oh, the bit where he shoots off the wings.
Yeah.
I've seen that scene and only that scene on television like 20 years ago.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was so weird. I'm like, oh my God, I've seen this. Like, I've seen this bit and remember being very disturbed by it, like, as a small child.
Yeah. I mean, they have played Dogma on
TV back in the day. Yeah, it was just, I don't remember where I was or what the context was or what.
Weird.
But anyway. When they were like gonna go like back into the church, like the rest of them were gonna be like ascended, I kept imagining it to end like Rocky Horror with the church just like flying away.
Just flying the church.
I don't know why.
Has rockets on the bottom.
Yeah,
of it.
that was kind of, for some reason, that popped into my head. I still can't believe that Howard Shore was the composer. That was super cool. But anyway, so with all of that being said, I think it's time to get into our rating discussion.
Yeah.
So I'll pull that up. So the first things first.
I'm the realist.
First things first, I'm the realist. Production design. I liked the production design. I think it was well executed.
Same.
I think it was well shot. I think that the like everything that conceptually was thought up seemed to find its way to the screen very well. And I honestly, like, it was very 90s, but everything was good. And yeah, I would give it a 5.
I would agree.
Story rating. So
I know you're probably taking off points for the Jay and Silent Bob of it all, but I would give this story at least a 4.5 if it were just up to me, but it's not.
I'm going to give it, okay.
We talk about things on this podcast.
We do.
We compromise.
I would like to say a 4. I'm docking at 1 point because it is not, you know what I mean? Like, and also, like, if it was just me and I was in a different, like, it would maybe even be lower, but I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. I think 4 is where I would like to land with it. If that's okay.
That's all right.
That is kind of where I feel. But I do, and all that being said, it is just this Jay and Silent Bob of it all, and I know that is a core component of Kevin Smith, and I'm gonna have to just see if that gets better throughout time. But it is going to be a problem for me. So that's just the way it is. It is what it is.
They are not as present in Chasing Amy. I think they have one scene.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe 2.
Okay, that's interesting that they're there, but they're not.
They're there, but they're not.
Interesting.
Super featured.
Okay.
I mean, I really like Chasing Amy. Even if it is,
I'm very much looking forward to watching it because I think it'll be a fun.
Yeah, we gotta get that on the sketch at some point because I think you'll really like it.
I agree. Performances, I'm willing to give this one at least a 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5, I'd say.
Yeah, 4.5 is probably about right. Who was Bethany? I don't recognize the actress.
Linda Fiorentino.
Okay.
Men in Black.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She was really popular in the late 90s.
Okay.
I think she kind of got a reputation of being hard to work with.
Oh.
Because I don't know why, but
because she's a woman.
Because she's a woman, and if you have an opinion, how dare you?
Yeah.
Not really what. Even Kevin Smith was like. She just wouldn't look at me some days. Like, I don't know what happened.
Oh.
So I mean, maybe she was. Maybe she wasn't. I don't know. I don't know what happens behind the scenes.
Right. It's impossible to know.
But she was really popular as the kind of the sci-fi.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't want to say it girl, but like the.
Yeah.
The snarky, independent woman who ends up being somewhat of a love interest.
She reminds me of Joanne Kelly.
Okay.
Who was really popular. Aaron would know this, but he's not over here. As one of the leads in Warehouse 13. So she's in a sci-fi show that ran for a number of years. She has this like very distinctive, like kind of the reluctant protagonist character vibe, and she had the same kind of energy. I'll show you a picture so you can see.
Yeah.
She plays things kind of similarly. But anyway, so that's either way. I think 4.5 is Alan Rickman. Any other issues Alan Rickman just kind of takes care of. No, I genuinely I think everyone did a good job. Even my irritations with Jay and Silent Bob, they were still acted well. Yeah. So I don't want to besmirch that, and I think that Kevin Smith's portrayal of Silent Bob has, like, especially visually, he reminds me of a lot of my friends from Illinois. so it's, which
is funny because the character's from New Jersey, but
which is fun. Yeah, but he's got like there's an energy that like I understand and I get his vibe. Just kind of just like
hairy
dude bro guy who's just very like happy go lucky, but also like there to help his friends kind of energy. Yeah. Like totally, I get it.
Love it.
It was all very good. And then cultural impact. I think that especially these days because it's hard to get a hold of in a lot of ways, but I think that it's definitely established a cult classic status, which is cool.
I think it's the first. It's not the first movie in the View Askew universe, but I think it's the one that mostly ties them together. It was like a pivotal point.
Sure.
In the View Askew universe.
Yeah.
So if you're like you can go visit the Buddy Christ at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash in Red Bank, New Red Hook. I don't know.
Okay.
Somewhere in New Jersey.
Okay.
Which is on my list to get out there at some point.
Maybe we'll have to do like a video series where we go out there. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
No, I think
for a certain it does. It is kind of that cult classic because for a certain group of people
it means a hell of a lot. And I think that that's a tough one to judge.
Yeah.
Because it's that there's this musical from a number of years ago called Title of Show. If you're familiar with it.
Okay.
It was like one of those like you have to write a play or you have to submit a play in a certain amount of time kind of situation. That's a festival essentially.
Yeah.
Not quite a fringe, but in that vein.
Yeah.
And they were basically just like, why don't we want to write this like quick musical and turn it around for this thing.
Yeah.
What are we gonna write the musical about? And they're like, what about a musical about writing a musical? And so the whole thing was like sort of the story of them writing it was the story of the musical. It's exceedingly meta and could have been terrible, but it's actually very good. But they have a song that I think is that has and I can't remember the name of the name of the song itself, but the main line in it is, I'd rather be 9 people's favorite thing than 100 people's 9th favorite thing. And I think that's a very interesting kind of thought process for being an artist.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that's sort of like, but I have to respect it. With like, you know, like Kevin Smith movies, I didn't start watching them until I was 30, right?
Right.
But actually 31 in one day.
Oh shit.
But the idea of like, yes, there are some components of this movie that aren't my personal favorite thing, but like they mean a hell of a lot to a specific group of people, and I am friends with that group of people and I care about them a lot and I understand why it made them better people or made, you know, or brought them into their lives and helped them, you know what I mean? Like I get it. Like I get why that it's that Kevin Smith seems to bridge the gap between 12-year-old kind of juvenile, you know, behavior and merging it with like high level concepts and really kind of progressive and liberal ideas. And like I think that that's cool, and I think that the people that it's for it's really important. You know, I think that it means it's 9 people's favorite thing. Yeah. It's more than 9 people, but you know, that's the analogy I'm going with.
For the people who like it, it's up there.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I don't know if I'm one of those
people,
but it's up there on my list. It's
for sure.
And again, it was very formative for me because I saw it so young and so many goddamn times.
Right. So it clearly had an effect on you, and you said like it was a thing that made you question. It caused you to interrogate your own relationship with religion. It caused, you know, it was important. And again, if it's your one of the 9 people with your favorite thing, that's a separate question. But it certainly had a cultural impact on you.
So what do we say for that?
Oof. Well, I'm not going to give it less than a 4.5, but I could be argued to give it a 5.
Okay. I'd say a 4.5.
I think a 4.5 is very appropriate.
So, yeah.
All right, that gives us it gives it a 4.5.
Nice.
That is the official rating.
Nice.
So that's pretty good. That's up there for us.
That is up there for us.
I have a ratings filter that puts it that puts us right behind Wolf of Wall Street and just above Pretty in Pink.
All right.
So whatever that means
I think it's third.
That puts it
Inside
as
Out was our first. It was first because I got straight
it's
5s.
Third. Yep, it's third.
Nice.
Yep, third behind Wolf of Wall Street. So far, absolutely.
So far.
We should probably have like one day I'll make an actual like page that shows.
You know what?
It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, we could get there. We'll get there.
It's going to go on either way. It's going to my Letterboxd and being rated,
Yeah.
but it'd be kind of fun on the website to do it at some point. We'll get there. But anyway, this was deeply fun. I'm excited to see how the View Askew-averse affects me going forward. And I'm excited to get some of our other friends who have a lot of connection to this world in and talk to and experience with them, and I'm very excited.
I think it'll be a really good time.
I agree.
It'll be super fun.
Yeah. So until next time, I'm Ian.
I'm Megan.
And we will see you later.
I say we get drunk because I'm all out of ideas.
Let's do it.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Film School Slacker. Our graphic design is by Mitch Ransdell. Music by Ariel Shalom and Ziv Moran. Voiceover audio provided by Mike D and Janet Paoni. Learn more at filmschoolslacker.com.